Hey guys, what's going on? My name's Chris Hawkins, and this is your best life defined. So guess what? You probably don't know this about me, but I'm a crybaby. I've always actually been a crybaby. Even back in those years when I was a tough guy, I was a crybaby. And you know what's funny about that is there was power in those tears for me. Tears often motivated me, which is really cool. And I think a lot of guys, especially a lot of us guys, we think, oh, you know, we can't cry, don't cry. I should put my shield on, walk away, get pissed, punch somebody, right? I don't know, guys. If you got that hard shell on and you think you can't cry, you should try it sometime. Boy, it feels so good to let that shit out. I know people will be like, wow, he's weird. No, not at all. There's power in tears. There's power in tears. Now, does this mean that you get to go around making people cry? No. I'm talking about you. I'm talking about when you're faced, when life is just walking over the top of you and you can't take it anymore and you just feel that gush of tears and you can't stop them and you cry to the point that you get that sucky noise, you know, where you can't catch your breath. You know how powerful that is? I know people don't think of that as power, but it actually is, because change doesn't happen until there's no other option for most people. Now, I change things all the time. I am jumping from this to that, and I think it's partly because I've failed at so many things. I don't fear change. I don't fear what could happen because I know what can happen. I've been through a lot of it. But for most of us, when we change in our life, like our job or our direction or even our relationship, for most of us, it has to get really, really bad for that to happen. It has to hit rock bottom. If you're crying, when you allow yourself to be honest enough to say, this sucks, and the waterworks start, there's power in that. Because when you're sitting there, when you're sitting that low, up is the only place to go. What do you have left to lose when you're sitting in a puddle of your tears? You don't. The slate is clean. There's no place to go, right? Use that power. Use that power, that freedom that comes from saying, I don't have anything else to lose. I'm moving on this. Now that I realize this doesn't work and there is nothing left for me, I'm going for it. And sadly, this applies to our entire lives, right? Everything about our life. When I think back to my transformation and the transformation of my life and how Sandy and I have been able to become the best of friends, that's where this whole thing started, was amid tears. I mean, for years, we're coming up on in January 24th, we will have been married 40 years. And I remember times when we just struggled and struggled and struggled, and I think at about 45 years old, I started asking myself questions about why in the hell am I doing this? Why am I still here? And the transformation came in the culmination of tears. It started when my dad died in 2011, when there was just, you ever cry so much you can't cry anymore? But I was so far down that where was I going to go? Can't get any worse, right? Has to get better. There's power in that. And again, as I'm looking at my life and I'm asking myself, why am I doing the things I'm doing? Why am I the person that I am? Why am I so afraid to allow people to love me, to allow people to be in my inner circle, to allow my partner to see who I really am, to share my feelings with her? And then again, when I looked at our life and we were continuing down that same cycle that most couples follow a cycle. And it ends in, the culmination is a battle and someone gets upset. Things don't generally change, but we work through them, or we just step around the problems and keep trudging along, right? Well, there Sandy and I we were in the middle of one of those moments, and I just realized at some point I'm there in the middle of my tears and I'm thinking, why am I doing this? And that's when I decided either I was going to change and she was going to change with me so that our life would be better, or it would be over. And that's the conversation that we had to have. Listen, I can't do this anymore. I'm sorry. It's not because I don't love you, but it's because I love me. And that's where it was. That's where it happened. The idea that us guys, we can't cry. No, we can cry. We can cry. When we hit bottom, we're working our ass off at work, and we get home, we're sitting there drinking a beer, thinking about how bad that day really was. Wondering why the hell we're still there, why we're still grinding it out. Feeling dejected because you put everything you could into that effort and no one appreciated it. It didn't work out. You're not any better off after today than you were yesterday, and you won't be any better off tomorrow than you are today. There's power in tears, because tears, that feeling of dejection where you just don't know what else you can do, that's freedom. That's freedom for you to say, well, screw it, this is it. All I can do is better. All I can do is better. Now, yep, I'm a crybaby. I'm a crybaby. What's really interesting about it, just so you know, in spite of our partners wanting us to connect with our sensitive side, with our emotional side, to talk to them, especially like my wife. My wife, she says, well, you never tell me how you feel. Watch what happens if your wife ever catches you crying for the first time, if she's never seen you cry, or you actually go ahead and show your partner that you are vulnerable, that you actually are broken inside. If they've never seen that, it's going to freak the hell out of them. Because as a guy, as a man, I'm supposed to be the knight on the white horse. Brene Brown says it best. And when we come off that horse and we are broken and sad and sitting in a puddle of tears, our partner doesn't see the warrior that has protected them. And in spite of what anyone says, there's a lot of people who aren't ready for that. But there's power in that. Because when things are crushed, they're crumbled around you, and there's no way to put the pieces back together, all you can do is look for something better. Our relationship was that way. There was no sense in trying to fix what was there again. It wasn't working. It was time to create something new. So when you're sitting there in your tears and you're thinking, why do I put up with this? Why do I do this? That's the opportunity for change. That is the catalyst for you to say, okay, it's enough. Now it's up to me. Now it is my responsibility to live my best life. What does that mean? I don't know. Your relationship? Maybe it means sitting down having an honest conversation with your partner about the fact that if you don't work together, if you don't start looking for a new way to communicate and a new way to share your lives, that you won't be able to share your life together. If it's your financial life, if it's what you have going on at home, there's a point when you're sitting there in your bedroom and you just wonder what you will do next. As that's the opportunity of a lifetime. That is the opportunity for you to be honest with yourself and to say, okay, not again, not the same way. And that's where you pick it up, and that's where you select change, and that's where you face the burden of going down a path you've never been down before, with a dream that you never thought you would have, that dream you never believed you would achieve. And it all starts with the power of tears. Because when we have nothing left is when we can be our freest to do what we dream of doing, when we can step outside our box, not worry about what other people think, and go after that thing that will lift us up out of that hole. That makes sense to you? Now, that doesn't mean I want a bunch of crybabies. I mean, there's a reason to cry, and it's okay to cry. But it requires action, and that's where a lot of people stumble. People get into these relationships and these lives that are just just chaos and turmoil and drama. And while they spend a lot of time crying about it and feeling the pain and misery of it, they can't find the energy in that to step away from it, to change something. And as sad as it is, this record is made. You can continue to listen to this podcast and continue to listen to it. But there's a point when the obligation is on you to take action. And that's where most people back away. Oh, you want me to do something? You want me to do something to fix my life? No way, dude. Not me. I'm not that guy. I guarantee you, I can stand up here, I can have 1 million podcasts, keep repeating it and saying it and motivating and supporting everything you need. And in the end, guess what? When it all comes down, the only way anything in your life will ever get better is when you take the action to make it better. There's power in tears. Tears are the reason I'm here. Tears are the reason I keep showing up every day, because I look around and I see the heartache and the struggle on the faces of people around me. Angry people who have no idea why they're even angry. I understand it. I used to be that. Spent a lot of time alone, crying and wondering, what now? What now? What now? This is what it turned into. This is my game, my story, my plan, my path. Maybe it's time for you to turn that into energy. Maybe it's time for you to turn all those tears into the energy you need to live your best life. To wake up one day and say, okay, to wake up today. Let's just say, here's a call to action for you. To wake up today and say, you know what? I'm tired of feeling bad about this. I'm going to change this. I'm going to use this as the benchmark to change the rest of my life. Is it fair? No, it's not fair. Does it suck? Yes, it sucks. Is it hard? Of course it's hard. But if it weren't difficult, everyone would do it. Face your fears. Allow your tears to give you the energy you need to avoid ever having to be in that place again, and then go for it. And don't let anyone stand in your way. Don't let anyone tell you you can't, because you can. I don't know. I'm digging it. I'm digging this. I wake up every day and I face my struggle and I take action in the direction I want my life to go in, and you get to be a part of it. And I'm really thankful for that. I'm thankful for everyone who continues to subscribe. I'm thankful for everyone who continues to download and listen to this podcast, because I don't want to waste your time, and I'll continue to show up every day, even when you don't. Even when you're not ready to listen to one more podcast about how to live your best life, because you just can't, or you don't have the energy, or maybe you're just not ready. But when you show back up, guess what? I'm still going to be here, because even if it isn't working for you right now, it's working for me. So keep that in mind, and as always, just remember, today is your day. Make it a good one.